Welcome back to Fourth and Troll Fantasy. What's going on, Fourth and Trollers? Welcome back to Fourth and Troll Fantasy, the most entertaining fantasy show on the planet. My name is Noah Selby.
And I'm Wes Selby.
And we've got a great show for you guys today. A great little piece of info, a great brain nugget to launch in and hold there in your cranium. Training camp is right around the corner, guys. We made it. We're here. Your social media feeds are about to be blessed by the worst quality iPhone videos you've ever seen in your life over the next month or so. Some have even started today, and some over the past weekend. Some rookies reporting to camp already. But we've got 5 pieces of intel, 5 big buzz stories, big hype pieces that we're going to talk about here. People that we believe the hype on them for training camp. We're buying the training camp buzz, the training camp hype. It's going to be a good time. Wes, let's get straight to it. Let's talk about it.
All right. So first things first, pardon the new setup here. Getting married in 40 days, so I got to change to this office here. Let's see how tell me what you want, trollers. What kind of decor should we get over here? I want to make sure that it's visually appealing. But let's talk about Denver Broncos running back RJ. Again. You mean this Fourth and Troll shirt that you can get on our store merch?
Yeah, nice. Good segue.
Here's a little plug.
Yeah.
All right, RJ Harvey. We've talked about him. Here's our first player that we're talking about. There's going to be some training camp buzz about this Denver Broncos running back, and we've already mentioned him in some previous videos because of what Sean Payton is talking about with this kid. And really, there's no true running back so far in Denver. Yes, J.K. Dobbins is there. A lot of interest still for Audric Estime. Jaleel McLaughlin had some interest from last season. But right now, the door is open for anyone to be the starter. And Sean Payton has talked heavily about wanting to make R.J. Harvey his new Alvin Kamara. Literally, those are his words. They have studied tape together of Kamara. And what we can see from Kamara's history, obviously a huge, incredible PPR fantasy back. But I looked at his rookie season, okay? Alvin Kamara was not the starter his rookie season. That was Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram had, I want to confirm the stats here, 250 carries as the starter, okay? Again, this is with Alvin Kamara on the team. And Alvin Kamara was the PPR guy. Only 120 carries for Kamara his rookie season. Kamara was a top 5 running back in fantasy. So pay attention to the harp on RJ Harvey. Let's see just how involved he is in the PPR game, because if this hype continues to build, he could absolutely be a starter for the season in 2025.
Yeah, I think RJ Harvey is a very interesting prospect and someone we need to buy the hype on. When it was talked about the whole offseason leading up to the draft, the Broncos wanting to get a running back for their team, for the Broncos wanting to fill that spot, obviously Ashton Jeanty is the top prospect, but Sean Payton was on record saying that when we realized Jeanty wasn't going to fall to us, we looked for the next best spot for us. And they passed on Omarion Hampton. He was available to them in the first round. And they said, you know what? No, we can wait and we can get the guy that we really want here with RJ Harvey. Super productive in college. I really like RJ Harvey. I agree completely. Buy the hype on RJ Harvey. There's always been split backfields. You're absolutely right, Wes. J.K. Dobbins, whatever. Okay. I'm going to talk about a guy I've grown a lot on. Okay. Last season, I was calling him a bust. And then even throughout last season, I was saying, okay, maybe he's not. Maybe he's going to be valuable here. And now he finds a new team with a new quarterback in a passing offense. And I believe George Pickens is absolutely someone we need to buy the offseason hype on. There is massive touchdown upside here for George Pickens. You got to think about CeeDee Lamb is obviously the one. But George Pickens has a chance to be maybe the best number 2 in the league this year. If he is running on all cylinders here in this Cowboys offense. Obviously there's T. Higgins. There's maybe I almost said Jalen Waddle because that's usually what you can say, but good Lord, just another chance to talk bad about our favorite team. Anyways, back to George Pickens because he's more fun to think about. Listen, there's massive touchdown upside. Remember Brandon Cooks 2 years ago in the back half of the season on the stretch, 8 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks scored 8 touchdowns 2 years ago with Dak playing in this offense. Dak's always been able to be a guy who's the threat of throwing 40 touchdowns in a season. And George Pickens is there, and he's got great chemistry with him. Dak Prescott just this past week saying it's not going to be hard for me. It's all about getting the ball near that guy and letting him go be George Pickens. And now I understand George Pickens, a lot of drama in Pittsburgh, but right now in Dallas, you absolutely need to buy the hype on George Pickens. He's going as the consensus wide receiver 29 right now. I think top 20 wide receiver is absolutely in the realm of possibility. So you really, really got to believe the hype here.
Yeah, from the moment he ended up in Dallas, the whole organization has been praising him. Even CeeDee Lamb, they've even talked about wanting to be a 1A, 1B duo. And I think there is some really high upside for Pickens. Let's talk about a rookie, another rookie that I'm going to talk about with a very questionable quarterback situation. We're going to talk about the hype around Tyler Warren, the tight end for the Colts. A lot of people thought that they were going to take a tight end. A lot of people thought that it was going to help Anthony Richardson probably get to a starting level, at least consistency, as long as he was healthy. Well, he's not healthy. And it's going to be Daniel Jones. And I do firmly believe that Daniel Jones will be the starter for at least majority of the season, if not all of 2025. But whoever the quarterback is, whenever you hear hype on Tyler Warren, buy into it. This kid is amazing. We talked about him previously, I think in our mock draft video. Tyler Warren is one of the most impressive athletes from this draft. He is remarkable. What he did at Penn State was incredible. It doesn't matter too much to me who the quarterback is. In a full PPR format, think of Malik Nabers and what he did with Daniel Jones and a host of different quarterbacks. Whoever's under center, I'm certain that the hype that builds around Tyler Warren should warrant him being a drafted player, possibly your starting tight end going into the season. So whatever we're going to hear about Tyler Warren, don't be too worried about who the quarterback is. Really buy into Tyler Warren. I do believe he has top 10 upside, probably top 5 for fantasy. So let's pay attention. Let's continue to hear what the Colts are saying about pretty much their best player in the passing game for this season. I'm buying Tyler Warren all the way.
Yeah, the opportunity there in that offense is wide open. Is it going to be Michael Pittman Jr.? Like Tyler Warren is a guy who I believe Josh Downs is his only competition for leading the team in targets. Like this guy is absolutely coming in to be a stud, to be a star. The pedigree, the draft pedigree, the draft cost speaks for itself. And Shane Steichen is a creative play caller. I'm hoping it's Daniel Jones because I don't love the value with Anthony Richardson. I know that it will be Daniel Jones to start the year. Or that's the betting odds right now, but that's my estimation and guess as well. I'm going to talk about another wide receiver here. I've talked about him before. I'm taking the chance to talk about him again because he's still the consensus wide receiver 27 going in drafts, and I don't understand. It's Jameson Williams, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. A lot of hype around JMO this offseason. Okay, first and foremost, he bulked up, all right? It's not going to sound big, but he gained 5 pounds of muscle. And when you think about in terms of 5 pounds of muscle, listen, this dude is ready to go and be an X wide receiver and alpha on the outside. He's trying to morph himself into a more athletic DK Metcalf, maybe. Who knows? But the new OC coming over from Denver, John Morton, Denver had the 5th most deep pass attempts in the league last season. I love Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I'm not sure how often he's going to run those sort of routes versus they'll try and feature JMO for those kind of routes here. Getting a ton of praise all offseason from John Morton, from Dan Campbell. It's been evident. They've talked about, he's got so much more in the tank to hit, to be at, to grow to. He's got so much more potential he can max out. And it was back in OTAs, but Dan Campbell was asked who the player who's grown the most, who's shined the most at that point was, and he said, absolutely Jameson Williams. It's no doubt in my mind. And so it was an immediate answer. They've got plans for this guy this season. It's going to be awesome. Add into the fact that I know the passing volume isn't super high, but I think he's good for at least 15, maybe 20 rushing attempts on the season as well, scattered around those end around plays. He had 11 rushing attempts last season. And so he's a good guy there for opportunities in different ways for this offense for them to feature him. All signs pointing to a huge breakout. And I really believe JMO is on the verge of having probably a top 15 wide receiver season.
Which is a great segue for me to say that here's a hot take. I'm concerned about Amon-Ra St. Brown's top 10 potential because of what Jameson Williams will probably do this season.
Mm,
Yeah, sure, they both could be, but they were
mm,
both 1,000-yard receivers. And I don't know if you can feed them both in the way where the hype around Jameson Williams is crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy right now.
I'm not. I'm
It's,
not. I don't think I'm too worried. I think the one that I believe is going to. I think they play in different areas of the field, and so I think who's most at risk here is probably Sam Laporta. But I mean, that's always been a risk with Laporta. His rookie year, the touchdowns were incredible, and then
yeah.
kind of evened that out, and the touchdowns were kind of what made him maybe who he was. But um, I I still it's possible the shift happens, but I really think Jared Goff has the eye magnetism, almost you would say, for Amon-Ra, but it's definitely a possibility. There's the breakout could come at a cost to somebody else.
Yeah, I think it's possible. But either way, James Williams is someone to really target, especially at the ADPs at. Here's the last players actually that we're going to talk about here for this video. Pay attention to the training camp buzz in San Francisco. You clicked on this video for a reason because of that thumbnail with the wonderfully colored hair Jauan Jennings, whatever color his hair is going to be for 2025, and whatever team he might be on. Because now there's some rumors that he wants to be traded if he's not going to get paid. He's not going to get paid. So if for whatever reason, we're talking about Jauan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall for 2025 training camp buzz, if Jauan Jennings somehow gets paid by the 49ers, okay, I guess it's Jennings seasons then. I guess. I just can't fathom that they would pay him after paying Brandon Ayuk a crap ton of money last season, Christian McCaffrey crap ton of money the year before, and then George Kittle, and then Brock Purdy, $50 million a year. Where's the money going to go for Jauan Jennings? They let go of all the defensive players. There's no more space for Jauan Jennings to get the kind of money he wants. But if they somehow pay him, then they're going to have to throw him the football. You know what I mean? So here's the real training camp buzz, okay? So the drama around Jauan Jennings really puts my eye on the hype around Ricky Pearsall. If we start seeing some good reports during this training camp that Pearsall is the guy, which we were already getting some of that in minicamp and OTAs, that Pearsall is the player they want to run the offense through, especially while Brandon Ayuk recovers from his ACL tear. If Ricky Pearsall really gets a lot of buzz going, we're talking really, really top 2015, maybe even better on the season. I mean, he's the wide
Yeah.
receiver one. Not saying he is going to be the greatest wide receiver in the NFL for this season, but he was a first round draft pick. So they want to invest in him. Obviously, the reason he didn't start off that great from last season was because of an unfortunate shooting accident, and he's okay. And he started to have a little bit of success at the end of the season. And he's got a hamstring injury right now, too, that he's recovering from. So if it all works out for Pearsall to be the alpha, no question, no Jennings, no Ayuk, Chris McCaffrey coming off of a bad injury season, it's all his. This could really be a great season for Ricky Pearsall. So I'm paying a lot of attention to the buzz around Pearsall and probably going to target him for 2025.
Who would have thunk it that if you give yourself more than a couple months to recover from being shot in the chest, that that you might be more athletic and better at football after that.
Who
Who
knows?
knows? Who would have thought? Listen, I'm fully with you. I think Ricky Pearsall is the wide receiver to target, especially now with this Jauan Jennings stuff coming up. Don't shoot the messenger, but he's got a real chance to possibly be top 15 if this happens. We'll
It's
see.
in the cards.
Yeah, we'll
It's in
see.
the
Don't shoot the
cards.
messenger. That's going to do it. Let us know what players, what hype you're following in the off season, and stick around because we're going to shortly after this put out a video. So off season hype that you should not be buying into. That's fake, and that you should not be talking about it, and you shouldn't be buying into it. But stay tuned, subscribe, like, ring the bell because you're going to want to make sure you're locked in for that information. That's going to do it. And we'll see you next time. Yeah, I don't have anything else. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow us on socials, join our Discord, And we'll see you next time. My name is Noah Selby.
And I'm Wes Selby.
And this has been For the Troll Fantasy.